evolve as a human being is never limited. Is sitting on floor and eating prasad privilege for people?
It is a right.
It is a right.
Namaste everyone, welcome to What's Your Favorite Position, a show where we twist, bend and breathe into our favorite yoga postures and philosophical musings. I'm your host Swati Kain, guiding you into this wacky world of yoga like never before. Joining us today is a very special guest, Greesha Dhingra, a yoga teacher from Gurugram. Greesha ji is a marketing professional and has worked in corporate for 8 years. It was during COVID she found her calling in yoga, which made her travel to Rishikesh to an ashram and stayed there for a month. Greesha ji, along with her team, now runs Adhyatma Yoga Workshops all over India. Adhyatma is a holistic yoga platform encompassing all aspects of yoga. They do both online as well as offline programs in the name of Ghar Ghar Yoga, Yog Seva and Yog Parichay, which are one-day yoga workshops in metro cities. Namaste Greesha ji, welcome to the show.
Namaste Swati ji, thank you so much for having me over here.
Let's talk about the transformation happened with you from working in the corporate for 8 years as a marketing professional to all of a sudden, renouncing everything and leaving for Rishikesh to learn yoga and later becoming a yoga teacher. How was your journey like?
It's actually a very beautiful question, and I always love to start this way because I think it helps us connect with a lot of audience in many ways. So thank you so much. So my move from corporate to this life is a classic example of what yoga can potentially do to you, right? During the COVID times, we were all of us were locked in our houses. Someone like me who was very outgoing, very workaholic, very outdoorsy person, always interacting with people, had an advertising and marketing job. I'm sure you can understand how much of socializing you do in that job. I was in the house, locked, not able to interact, not able to go out. So in a way, all of those distractions that were there kind of, stopped in that moment for me. And when I was with myself for such a long time, I realized so many things inside me were boiling. I felt like I was not happy. Even in that moment, I realized that I think my idea of happiness was wrong, because the moment all of this is taken away from me, I am not happy anymore. I feel like there's an emptiness inside me. My health was suffering, which I could not pay attention to because of the lifestyle we had. There was no time. So when I paused, I realized that I had gained weight, my digestion was poor, my skin was getting bad, I was mentally agitated, my sleep cycle was disturbed, my menstruation cycle, everything was disturbed, which I could only realize in that moment when we were locked inside. Mm-hmm. And on top of that, what was happening around in the world, there was a stress building up. And I realized that if I cannot do anything in this moment, let me just begin practicing yoga. That was the time when I first started practicing yoga.
Okay.
And I never looked back.
इससे पहले आपने कभी yoga practice?
So I was a very physically active person in my school days, especially. I was into too much sports and gymnastics and everything. Mm-hmm. I think somewhere that physical discipline that I had of sportsmanship kind of started reflecting then also, because in my childhood I was too much into all of these co-curricular activities, especially sports. So when I started doing yoga back, that spirit in me, kind of revived. And I started practicing with the physical aspects of yoga, and slowly I realized so many things started coming to me.
It always starts with that. It starts with
Yes.
They say that it starts with yummy, but you reach to the physical aspect of it.
Correct. You know, that is not entirely true, Swati ji. Yoga, there are different paths to yoga. And yoga that is how it is beautifully designed, right? Someone is Kriya Pradhan, someone is Karma Pradhan, someone is Gyan Pradhan.
You are right.
Right? So whichever route, you take based on the Pradhanta, the nature that you have, every path you take brings you back to one path and the one destiny. So that's why there is Jnana, there is Raj, there is Bhakti, there is Hatha, there is Ashtanga. So there are different paths to yoga. That is why, because our rishis realize that not everyone is same. Not everyone can start from physical. Not everyone can start from the mind. Not everyone can start from the Jnana. Eventually they will climb this ladder.
Yes.
But there is one space, and because for me, physical activity was something that, because of my prakriti also, I was very active person. Yes. So I could connect to activity more in that moment.
Exactly.
And that's how it's
like. में बहुत ही अच्छा एग्जाम्पल देता है मीराबाई का कि उन्होंने कैसे मोक्ष की प्राप्ति करी थी, and that was through her singing. Exactly. And that was through her bhakti.
Bhakti, most likely.
For Krishna.
For Krishna, of course. So for that bhakti, so that was her prakriti. Yes. Devotion, love, right? To be able to give yourself to one Lord, and that's how she attained moksha.
Yes. On that note, Greesha ji, what is the practice of the day? आज हम क्या practice करने वाले हैं?
I think let's practice Anuloma Viloma today.
Good.
Wonderful. Okay. All right. Anuloma Viloma is a very beautiful practice. It is something that develops the Santulan Bhav in you, right? Anuloma Viloma is the alternate nostril breathing. Alternate nostril, like you are equally breathing from left nostril and right nostril. So balancing the two, Ida and Pingla, the masculine and the feminine side within you, right? And when that balance is attained, you always gain the wisdom to manage your emotions, manage your actions and your response to the external and internal environment, right? So Anuloma Viloma is a very beautiful practice which develops a santulan, like the bhav, the attitude of balance within you. Bringing the left heel closer to your pelvis. Now, because you are a yoga practitioner, your spine is beautifully straight, so we don't need a cushion under your buttocks. But usually for beginners, we suggest that they use elevation under the hips for the spine to be straight. So you see in this position, both your knees are comfortably pressing down and your shoulders are relaxed. You can turn your palm upwards. The mudra that we use for Anuloma Viloma is with the left hand we take the Gyan mudra, and we have to ensure all our fingers are joined nicely. Tip to tip you have to join your forefinger and thumb. This is Gyan mudra, gently placing the hands down. And from the right hand we make Vishnu mudra, so you curl the first two fingers, and your thumb out and the other two fingers out and active. It's important that your elbow position is right in this. Make sure that it is not too up or too down. If you press the armpit strongly, one of the nostrils will get blocked because there is an acupressure point here. So you have to make sure that the armpit is breathing and your hand is not tense, your elbow is not tense, so that way your shoulder can be relaxed. So relaxing this. Before we begin the practice, we're going to do a mental Anuloma Viloma, which is preparing the nostrils, okay? In the preparation of nostril, you first inhale through the left nostril without using your hands, and then you exhale from the right nostril. Inhale from the right nostril, expanding your right side of the rib cage. Exhale from the left nostril. One more breath. Inhale from the left nostril. Feel the expansion in your left side of the lungs. Exhale from the right nostril. One more deep breath. Inhale from the right nostril. Exhale from the left nostril. Exhale completely. Make sure all the air from the body is removed. Now block your right nostril with the thumb. First relaxing your breath. Make sure you're not pressing your nostril too hard. Now take Inhalation from the left nostril without making any sound. Nice and gentle breath in. 4, 3, 2, 1. Allow the exhalation from the right nostril. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhalation from the right nostril, blocking your left nostril with the little finger and ring finger. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhalation from the left nostril. 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhalation again from the left nostril. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Feel the breath. Remember, breath is an emotion. Exhale from the right. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and easy. Inhale, cooling sensation in the right nostril. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, left. 6, 5, 4. Slowing down even more. 3, 2, 1. Releasing both the hands, taking a moment. Both your hands on the knees. Take a deep inhale. Watch the breath entering your nostril, nasal cavity, back of your throat, expanding the chest, moving the abdomen. As you exhale, allow chest to relax, back of the throat, nasal cavity, nostrils. Slowly rub your palms, generating the warmth. Place the palms over your eyes, warm your eyes. Slowly open up your eyes, look at your palms, folding the hands, bowing the head down. Be thankful and grateful. Slowly lift your head up. Hari Om. Thank you.
That was a wonderful practice, Greesha ji. एक सवाल जो हमेशा मेरे दिमाग में आता है, do you feel that having a yogic lifestyle, because they say that yoga is a lifestyle, so do you think that comes with a privilege?
Is sitting on floor and eating prasad privilege for people?
It is a right.
It is a right. If you sit on the floor, eat prasad, a man who is richest, the man who is poorest will sit and consume prasad the same way. So it is nothing but just the perspective, right? I understand that going to the finest of studios and meeting the classiest of teachers and doing different spectacular forms of physical practice which comes at a cost can be privileged, of course. But yoga in general, in life, is not a privilege. When you wake up in the morning and you start your morning and your day with a prayer, do we need to be privileged for that? Do we need to be privileged to thank God? Do we need to be privileged to eat our food with gratitude? And do we need to be privileged to be kind to people in many ways possible? So our understanding of yoga is so limited to only certain practices, and that's why we feel that it is only for privileged class, those who can take time for or make time for health. That's not true. It is ingrained in our Indian culture so beautifully that from the beginning we have learned to sit in Vajrasan, Sukhasan, eating with hands. All of these beautiful practices come from yoga and our Sanatan and old roots and ancient roots. So in a way I would say that it is just a perspective of mine. Yoga is not for privilege, just how water is same for you, me and anybody else. Same way yoga is that river which is same for everyone. Just how Ma Ganga is, right? Yes. She is same for everyone, yes. Right? It's up to you whether you go there for the adventure sports, you go for a holiday or you go for something else, right? Totally up to you.
So Greesha ji, also I feel like in today's world, which I call a turmoil, where there are wars happening, there's hunger and poverty. What is the significance of yoga?
What a beautiful question. स्वाति जी, जहाँ पे भूख होती है ना, वहाँ पे सेवा का भाव भी होता है. जहाँ वॉर हो रहा होता है, वहाँ पे पीस की इच्छा भी होती है ना. जहाँ गरीबी होती है, वहाँ अमीर होने की पॉसिबिलिटी भी होती है. राइट? सो एवरीथिंग in this world works in this duality, right? So understand that the only way you can reduce one side is by cultivating the other side, right? So yoga brings that possibility. It is that possibility which is going to cultivate the desire for peace in people. The desire for that stillness, that happiness in people, which is not necessarily dependent on acquiring things. Why is war happening in the first place? The desire to acquire more, to win over something. So yoga is that possibility which will cultivate that peace. Yoga will not end the war. Yoga will cultivate the peace, and that's what it does. So yoga is there to change the possibility of richness.
Yes.
We feel rich when we have a lot of material objects or possessions, but yoga changes your idea of richness in the first place. When you practice yoga, your inner peace, the more you have it, the richer you are, right? And same way again, when you talk about hunger, when there is more bhavana of using your resources with, in a sustainable fashion, utilizing everything with mindfulness, there is going to be more available for the other communities, right? And there is also going to be a possibility of serving people when you have so much with yourself. Yoga is that possibility, is that path that teaches you when you have 2 chapatis on your plate, make sure someone else has that too, if not more, right? So the seva bhav in yoga is what yoga is. Yoga is that possibility that will cultivate the other side which we are lacking, and the reason why all of this poverty, hunger and war and all of that is surfacing up.
Greesha ji, I have to ask you this. What's your favorite position?
In what sense?
In life, what's your favorite position in life?
Wonderful. That was a tricky question. Okay. So, when you say position, I assume you're talking about my roles in life, right? My roles in life as wife, daughter.
Yes.
Well, that is also a very tricky question. The thing is, like, in our life, we are always either bringing in role or switching from one role to the other, and it is always changing, right? Sometimes you are acquaintance to someone, a friend, or just like you're helping someone, and there also you're playing a role, and then your bigger roles, of course, within your relations and relatives. But I feel there is one role that is never changing, right? And that is your role as a human being. The moment you always identify yourself with these roles, your possibility to evolve with this role is always limited to them. But I think your possibility to evolve as a human being is never limited. It is always unlimited. So my favorite position or role is my role as a human being in everybody's life, regardless of what labels I am, attaching myself to, or what roles I am, associating with. I think my role as a human being, I feel, is of paramount, is of the most important stature in my life.
Thank you so much, Greesha ji, for showering us with your presence and your blessings. Until next time, stay centered, stay mindful. Namaste.